Real quick, would you spend $75,000 to $150,000 to get 3 to 6 inches taller? This is the big trend right now that we're seeing among certain group of people who feel that they are vertically challenged. I mean, this is mind blowing. I haven't heard about this before, and I want to get your thoughts on this topic in the comment section below. Would you spend $150K to get 3 to 6 inches taller? I want to know your thoughts about this because this is mind-boggling. We're going to get into this article right here, right? According to Business Insider, software engineers, who would have thought, from big tech firms like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta are paying at least minimum $75,000 to get 3 inches taller. And this is through a procedure which is known as the leg lengthening surgery. So I want to get your thoughts on this, right? This number, I mean, the average American income, the average income in America is what? Around $50,000, a little over $50,000. And you've got some software engineers, a group of people who are paying, these are not the uber wealthy. We're talking about people who are working in tech. Yes, they've got some higher pay or some high pay, but you've got people spending at least $75,000 up to $150K to get a little bit taller, right? So we're going to unpack this because this is just, I don't know, this is just my first time hearing about this, and this article is kind of making some waves right now amongst certain groups of people. So let's quickly talk about what is the leg lengthening procedure. What is this, right? Here's some pictures. So apparently this procedure involves screws, nails, and screws in your body. That's really, there's a nail and there's a screw that they insert into the thigh bone, the femur, and the tibia if you want that done from your knee down. And this is supposed to be a procedure where they shatter the bone. So this is they break the bone. Maybe not shatter, but they break the bone. This is a little bit invasive, or too invasive for me if you ask me. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really speak to the details, but based off of the research that I've done, this is a procedure that a lot of people, high income people, are, resorting to these days to get a little bit taller. And mainly, I feel like people just in corporate America, people who work in these tech companies feel the need to go through this surgery. And something that most of these articles have left out is there's been surveys that have stated that people's incomes correlate to the height, to their heights, but there's been no confirmation of this, right? It's happened, but it's a research or study, whatever you want to call it, or the saying, or the observation, but there's really no confirmation yet on this stuff. So 150K to me sounds like something that's a lot, and not just the money, but just the procedure itself, right? It seems too invasive for me, but apparently people are going through this right now. And people are going through their bones being broken and nails inserted in them to get 3 to 6 inches taller and empty their bank accounts or get $75,000 to $150,000 poorer. So this is just something that I am learning about, and I really want to get you guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Would you go through this surgery if you feel vertically challenged? And again, there's really no minimum height that was stated for this, but apparently this is something that's huge amongst guys. So we're going to talk about some of the risks, right? For those who are going through this or thinking about this, some of the risks, according to the Mount Sinai, this medical organization. According to this medical institution, we're seeing that the risk, or this hospital, we're seeing that the risk of this, of course, everything comes with a risk. But the risk that's been pointed out here is the risk of basically injury to your blood vessels. And this is post-surgery, right? And nerve damage, and also bone infection, and bone growth restriction, which may cause short height. But the Three key ones here are basically bone infection, nerve damage, and blood vessel damage. So most people who are doing this, I wonder if they're thinking about the long-term benefits the long-term downside, or the long-term disadvantages, or the long-term effects, as opposed to the short-term benefits. And I don't know, I'm not a doctor, like I said, but this just sounds pretty crazy to me. And again, from reading the articles, some of these medical experts or these surgeons have advised that, hey, if you are an athlete, you do not want to go through this process. So it does appear that this process is not recommended for people who are competing physically, right? In fact, what I was reading said if you compete with another guy who will run faster, if you get paid or do not get paid from competing physically, you want to stay away from this procedure. So I want to get your thoughts on this. $75,000 to grow 3 inches taller. And the other thing that I want to say here is, do you feel like in corporate America, do you feel like in the workforce, in the labor market, people who are taller than average get more respect? Do you think people who are taller make more money? I've seen reports out there, I've seen studies on this, but then again, I want to get people's opinion in real time, how people feel about this, because right now this is mind-boggling. And funny enough, someone made this comment while I was reading this article. Someone said, look, as a short person or someone who is vertically challenged, they did say that they do feel like corporate boards need to mandate at least 30% seat on the board for short people or people who are vertically challenged. So this is an interesting procedure that's in a trend for people working in Silicon Valley, in the tech space. Perhaps tech people are no longer concerned about being nerdy or being in the cubicles and just walking away. I guess perception, how they are perceived, is now a very serious issue for them. And all in all, I'm just gonna give you a boost. If you feel depressed, or if you feel unhappy with your height, or how tall you are, and you don't have the money, and you don't feel like you need to go through this process, I would say go out there and exercise. Hit the gym. You just do other things that make you feel good and look better physically if you don't have the money for this. Because again, I'm not sure I understand the full ramification of this stuff, but just the fact that they spend this amount of money on getting this with potential side effects or risks involved is very, very shocking to me. So I want to know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. But this is just something that is starting to gain some momentum amongst a group of people who can afford to blow $75K to $150K on this procedure. See you in the next video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.